There is a way to live that is calm, unshaken, and free from confusion. It does not come from wealth, status, or the approval of others, but from the discipline of the mind. Each day, the world presents countless distractions, emotions that rise like storms, and events beyond control. Yet within every person is a faculty capable of cutting through all of this. Reason. It is reason that allows clarity, that separates what is real from what is imagined, and that brings order where there is chaos. To think clearly is not to be free from challenges, but to see them for what they are without distortion, without excess, without fear. The mind is like a lamp in a darkened room. If covered in dust, the light is dim. If allowed to be clouded by anger, fear, or desire, it becomes weak, unable to illuminate the truth. But if one takes the time to wipe it clean, to strip away falsehood, to remove unnecessary worries, to question every assumption, then it shines brightly, allowing the path ahead to be seen with certainty. This is the work of every moment, to guard the mind against what does not serve it and to hold fast to what is true. The world offers no shortage of distractions, each one demanding attention, each one pulling the mind in countless directions. There are fears about the future, regrets about the past, desires that never seem to be satisfied. And yet, amid this chaos, the mind can stand firm. It does not need to be carried away by every passing thought or emotion. Instead, it can step back, observe, and decide. This is the true power of reason, to separate what is necessary from what is not, to see things as they truly are, and to refuse to be ruled by what is outside of control. Imagine standing before a raging river. The current is strong, carrying debris, churning wildly. The untrained mind is like one who leaps into this river without thought, tossed about by every wave, struggling against the pull. But the disciplined mind does not fight the river. It stands on the shore, watching, understanding its nature, and acting only when necessary. So it must be with thoughts and emotions. One does not have to act on every impulse, nor be disturbed by every passing fear. With practice, the mind learns to distinguish between what is real and what is illusion, between what is urgent and what is merely noise. Much suffering comes not from the events of life, but from the interpretations placed upon them. A word spoken in anger, does it truly harm, or is it the mind that grants it power? A failure, does it ruin, or is it simply another step in learning? How much easier life becomes when things are seen plainly, without exaggeration, without unnecessary fear. The wise do not add weight to their burdens by imagining them greater than they are. They accept, they adjust, they move forward. To think clearly is not to suppress feeling, but to ensure that feeling does not rule over reason. Fear may arise, but it need not dictate action. Anger may flare, but it need not control behavior. Joy may come, but it should not lead to recklessness. Each emotion is a visitor, arriving and departing. The mind's task is to welcome them, to understand them, and to choose which deserve attention. In this way, clarity is maintained, not by denying emotions, but by placing them in their proper place. Each moment presents a choice, to react blindly or to respond with understanding. When insulted, the choice is there, to be wounded or to remain unmoved. When faced with hardship, the choice is there, to despair or to endure. When given success, the choice is there, to be arrogant or to be grateful. Clarity comes not from avoiding difficulty, but from meeting it with the right perspective, from refusing to be ruled by anything but reason. A person who allows the mind to be ruled by fear, by anger, by false impressions, is like a traveler who loses their way because they follow the shifting shapes of clouds rather than the solid ground beneath their feet. The mind, if left unchecked, chases after illusions, mistaking them for reality, exhausting itself in endless pursuit of things that do not last. But the one who understands this truth keeps their attention only on what can be shaped, their own thoughts, actions, and character. No misfortune, no insult, no turn of fate can take away the freedom to choose one's response. Consider the archer. They cannot control the wind, nor the movement of the target, nor the thoughts of those who watch. But they can control their aim, their stance, their breath. They can train their hands to be steady, their eyes to be sharp. In this alone is mastery found, and so it is with life. To waste energy on what is beyond reach is to weaken oneself. To concentrate only on what can be directed is to gain strength, resilience, and peace. Each day is an opportunity to refine this discipline. The work is never finished, but neither is it beyond reach. It begins in small moments, when faced with frustration, pausing to ask, does this truly matter? When hearing gossip, questioning, is this useful to my character? When encountering difficulty, reflecting, is this within my power to change? And if not, then letting it go without another thought. It is in this daily effort that the mind is strengthened, that clarity becomes a habit rather than a struggle. No one can grant another person a clear mind. It is a task for each individual to undertake, but once achieved, it is the greatest possession, the surest guide, and the only true freedom. Hold to this, and nothing will move you from the path. Got it? I'll provide the expanded segment separately instead of integrating it. Here's the expansion for key point 2. Each moment presents an opportunity to choose how to respond. The mind is often quick to react, pulled by instincts, emotions, and the influence of those around us. But wisdom lies in the space between an event and a reaction, in the brief pause where judgment takes place. The one who can control this space, who can think before acting, is the one who is truly free. It is not external circumstances that shape a person's life, but their perception and response to them. No insult, no hardship, no stroke of fortune has power on its own. It is the mind that grants it meaning, and it is the mind that must remain in control. To master this, one must learn to observe without immediately reacting. When anger flares, step back and question it. Is this emotion useful? Does it serve any purpose beyond feeding pride or resentment? If it does not, then let it pass. When fear arises, do not cower before it, examine it. What is the worst that can happen? Can it truly harm, or is the harm only in the mind's resistance? The wise do not allow emotions to control them. They acknowledge them, understand them, and decide whether they are worth their attention. The world does not grant control over what happens, but it does grant control over how one thinks. This is the greatest power a person possesses. To see things clearly, to separate what is within reach from what is not, is to remove unnecessary suffering. Why be disturbed by things beyond change? Why waste energy fighting against what cannot be altered? The strong do not waste time complaining or lamenting their misfortunes. They accept, adapt, and move forward. Imagine a storm at sea. The waves rise and crash, the winds howl, the sky darkens. A weak sailor panics, trying to fight the storm, cursing the sky, blaming fate. But the skilled sailor does not resist what cannot be controlled. They adjust the sails, steady their hands, and work with the storm, not against it. So it must be with life. Struggles will come, but to waste effort resisting the inevitable is foolish. Instead, one must focus on what can be done, on what is within reach, and let go of everything else. There are those who spend their days consumed by worry. They fret over what may come, over things that have not yet happened, over the judgments of others. But what good does this bring? Does worrying change the outcome? Does fearing the future alter its course? No. The only thing within control is the present moment. This thought, this action, this decision. The rest is dust in the wind, beyond grasp, beyond influence. Let it go. A person who understands this does not waste time chasing illusions. They do not seek happiness and wealth and reputation in the fleeting praise of others. These things are like water held in the hands, impossible to grasp for long, always slipping away. True strength comes from within, from knowing that nothing external can disturb the mind unless permission is given. To need little is to be truly rich. To depend on nothing outside oneself is to be truly free. Consider the archer. Their goal is to hit the target, but they cannot control the wind, the movement of the target, or the distractions around them. They can only control their aim, their breath, their release. If they focus on what is beyond control, they will fail. But if they concentrate only on what is within their reach, they will find success regardless of the outcome. So it is with life. Direct energy only where it matters, and peace will follow. Each day is a new chance to practice this, to train the mind to remain steady, to refuse to be shaken by the trivial, to hold fast to what is true and discard what is useless. The work is never finished, but with each moment of discipline, the mind grows stronger, the path becomes clearer, and life, no matter its difficulties, becomes something that cannot break the spirit. Hold to this, and nothing will move you from the path. Each day brings with it a flood of opinions, judgments, and distractions. People rush to share their views, to impose their expectations, to demand agreement. It is easy to be carried along by this current, to shape one's thoughts and actions based on the noise of others. But the mind must stand firm, unmoved by what is outside of its control. Truth is not determined by popular opinion, nor is wisdom found in the approval of the crowd. What matters is not what others say, but what is known to be right through reason and careful thought. To think clearly is to resist the pull of the unexamined and to choose only what is worthy of belief. A mind that follows every opinion without question is like a ship without a rudder, drifting wherever the wind takes it. One moment is confident, the next it is filled with doubt. It praises something today and despises it tomorrow, not because it has found truth, but because it has let others decide for it. This is a weakness that must be rejected. The wise do not let their convictions be shaped by the unstable and the ignorant. They examine everything carefully, stripping away what is false, keeping only what is solid, and refusing to be swayed by empty words. Consider how often people fear the judgment of others. They hesitate, not because they doubt their own reasoning, but because they worry about disapproval. They hold back, not because they lack wisdom, but because they fear standing alone. But what is the worth of approval gained at the cost of truth? What is the value of agreement if it requires abandoning what is right? The mind must not be a servant to the shifting opinions of the world. It must be the master of itself, guided by reason, not by fear. A person may be called foolish for questioning what everyone else believes. They may be mocked for seeing what others refuse to see. But does this change what is true? If 1,000 voices repeat a falsehood, does it become real? If an entire crowd runs toward destruction, is it wisdom to follow? The mind must be strong enough to stand alone if necessary, to reject what is weak, and to choose what is right regardless of who agrees. There is great freedom in this. The one who is indifferent to the opinions of the unwise is unshaken by their words. The one who needs no validation from the crowd walks their path with confidence. To see clearly is to understand that the world will always be full of noise, of deception, of people who speak without understanding. But none of this need have power. The only thing that matters is what is true, and truth is discovered not in the voices of the many, but in the quiet reasoning of the disciplined mind. Imagine a sculptor carving a statue from stone. Each strike of the chisel removes what is unnecessary, revealing the form within. So it must be with thought. Each false belief must be removed. Each borrowed opinion must be questioned. What remains is what is solid, what is strong, what is real. This is the work of the mind, to strip away illusion, to discard what is weak, and to shape itself into something unbreakable. Much is wasted when energy is given to things that do not matter. The judgments of fools, the approval of those who do not understand, the ever-changing opinions of the crowd, these are distractions, nothing more. Time should not be spent worrying about what others think, but on what is within control, one's own thoughts, actions, and character. The rest is dust in the wind. Hold to this, and nothing will move you from the path. The mind is often its own worst enemy. It fills itself with worries about the future, regrets about the past, and endless desires that can never be fully satisfied. It magnifies small troubles into great burdens, turns fleeting discomforts into lasting suffering, and resists what is inevitable as though resistance could change fate. But clarity comes when this struggle is abandoned, when the mind learns to work with reality instead of against it. There is no wisdom in wishing that the world were different than it is. There is only wisdom in understanding how to move within it, to accept what cannot be changed, and to act where action is possible. So much suffering comes not from events themselves, but from the meaning assigned to them. A loss is just a loss, it is the mind that turns it into despair. An insult is just words, it is the mind that grants it power. A difficult task is just a task, it is the mind that decides whether it is unbearable or simply something to be done. The wise understand this and strip things down to their true nature, removing the excess weight of unnecessary thought. What remains is what is real, no greater, no worse, no heavier than it needs to be. There is no controlling what happens, but there is always control over how to meet it. A fire does not complain about the wood it is given, it simply burns it and grows. So too must the mind take whatever comes and make use of it. Obstacles do not exist to cause suffering, they exist to be overcome. If hardship comes, then it is a chance to strengthen endurance. If difficulty arises, then it is an opportunity to sharpen the mind. If a person is cruel, then it is a test of patience. Everything, no matter how harsh, is fuel for growth. To think otherwise is to be like a carpenter who complains about the weight of their tools or a soldier who curses the existence of battle. The path is not separate from struggle. The path is struggle. It is foolish to waste time wishing for ease. If a person desires only comfort, they will forever be weak, unprepared, and easily broken. But the one who accepts difficulty, who meets it without complaint, grows stronger with each challenge. This is why the wise do not resent misfortune. They use it. They do not curse fate when things do not go their way. They adapt. They do not demand that the world bend to their will. They shape themselves to move within it. This is how a person becomes unshaken, not by avoiding hardship, but by becoming the kind of person who is unmoved by it. Many believe that peace comes from avoiding struggle, but this is an illusion. Peace does not come from a life without difficulty. It comes from a mind that is undisturbed by difficulty. To walk a path of wisdom is not to remove all obstacles, but to learn how to step over them without losing balance. This is the difference between those who are ruled by circumstances and those who rule themselves. The first are thrown into confusion when things do not go their way. The second remain steady, for they have already accepted that life is full of both ease and hardship, and neither one changes who they are. Nothing is owed to anyone. The world does not promise comfort, fairness, or rewards for effort. Expecting otherwise is the surest way to disappointment. A person who understands this does not waste time complaining about what they lack or resenting what others have. They focus only on what is in their hands, on what they can do, on how they can respond. And in this, they find a kind of freedom that those who chase after illusions will never know. The mind is like a fortress. If its defenses are weak, then every small difficulty will break through its walls. Every minor discomfort will bring suffering. Every unexpected event will cause distress. But if its foundations are strong, then nothing can shake it. The winds may howl. The enemy may gather, the walls may be tested, but they will not fall. Strength is not found in a life without trials. It is found in a mind that is prepared for them. Hold to this, and nothing will move you from the path. People waste much of their lives chasing after things that do not last. They seek wealth, yet it slips through their fingers. They chase after praise, yet the voices that offer it soon grow silent. They cling to power, yet it is taken from them as easily as it was given. They believe that happiness lies in these things, but each time they grasp them, the satisfaction is fleeting. The mind, if left undisciplined, is like a traveler who endlessly changes direction, chasing after mirages that disappear the moment they are reached. But the wise know better. They understand that nothing external can bring lasting fulfillment, that no possession, no status, no moment of pleasure can provide what can only be found within. Consider how often people suffer not because they lack what is necessary, but because they desire what is unnecessary. A person may have food, shelter, and health, yet still feel miserable because they want more luxury, more admiration, more power over others, and yet another person with far less may walk through life content, untouched by the same restlessness. What separates them is not what they possess, but how they think. Freedom is not found in the abundance of things, but in the absence of need. He who desires little is never poor. He who is never satisfied is never rich. The problem is not that people want things, but that they allow these wants to rule them. They become dependent on fortune, on circumstances, on the whims of others. If they receive what they seek, they feel a brief moment of joy. But if they are denied it, they are thrown into despair. Their peace is not their own. It belongs to whatever controls their desires. This is no way to live. True strength is found in needing nothing outside oneself, in being complete regardless of what fortune gives or takes away. The mind must be trained to see through its own illusions, to recognize how often it deceives itself into thinking that something is necessary when it is not. Imagine a man who is given a golden cup and believes that he cannot drink from anything else. He becomes anxious whenever it is not in his sight, fearful that it may break, bitter if another has a finer one. Yet another man drinks from a simple clay cup and is satisfied, for his thirst is quenched just the same. The first man has trapped himself, though he does not see it. The second is free. Marcus Aurelius. So it is with all things, possessions, approval, comfort. They are only chains if the mind believes them to be necessary. The world will always be full of distractions, things that tempt the mind to chase after them. Some will say that wealth is the measure of a good life. Others will claim that success is found in reputation and how many admire and fear you. But this is the thinking of the blind, of those who have never stopped to ask themselves what truly matters. What is the use of riches if they come with a restless mind? What is the value of fame if it does not bring peace? A house may be grand, but if the one who lives in it is never content, then it is nothing more than a prison in disguise. Much is wasted in the pursuit of things that do not bring lasting joy. How many spend their days accumulating wealth, only to realize too late that it cannot buy back time? How many chase after admiration, only to see how easily it fades? The wise do not spend their energy on things that disappear. They invest only in what cannot be taken away. Their own character, their own wisdom, their own ability to meet life with strength and calm. These are the only true possessions, the only things that endure. A person who is free from unnecessary desire is unshaken by loss. If fortune brings wealth, they accept it. If it is taken away, they remain unmoved. If they are praised, they do not let it go to their head. If they are insulted, they do not let it wound them. Their peace is not something that can be given or stolen, it belongs to them alone. This is why the one who rules over his own desires is greater than the one who rules over nations. In the end, everything external will pass away. The body will grow weak, possessions will crumble, names will be forgotten. What remains is what was cultivated within. If the mind is strong, then nothing can truly be lost. If the heart is free from craving, then nothing can ever be taken. This is the only wealth worth seeking, the only power worth having, the only peace that lasts. Hold to this, and nothing will move you from the path. Each day, life presents choices. Some are small, some are great, but all shape the person who makes them. The mind may wish to delay, to hesitate, to seek an easier way, but action cannot wait for perfect conditions. Too many waste their days waiting for the right moment, the right mood, the right certainty before they act, but life does not pause. Every moment spent in doubt, in hesitation, in waiting for the world to align itself to one's wishes is a moment lost forever. Strength is found not in waiting but in moving forward and taking action regardless of discomfort, regardless of uncertainty, regardless of fear. There is no mastery without effort. The body does not grow strong without strain, nor does the mind grow disciplined without challenge. A person who seeks only ease will forever be at the mercy of circumstance. But the one who meets each moment with readiness, who does not turn away from difficulty, who does what must be done whether they feel like it or not, this is the one who is free. Each day is a chance to shape the self, to refine the mind, to strengthen the will. Those who understand this embrace difficulty rather than avoid it. They know that the path to mastery is not found in words and theories and endless planning, but in action. There are those who speak of what they will do, who dream of the future, who fill their minds with visions of greatness but never take the first step. They tell themselves they will begin when the conditions are right, when they have more time, when they feel inspired. But the wise know that the perfect moment never comes. There is only now. Delay is the language of the weak, the excuse of those who fear failure more than they desire growth. What is difficult today will not be easier tomorrow. What is avoided now will only become heavier with time. The only way forward is to begin, to act, to do what must be done without waiting for permission from the world or from the self. A person who does not train their mind to take action becomes a slave to inaction. They grow accustomed to hesitation, to avoidance, to making excuses for why they cannot do what they know they must. This weakness does not appear all at once, but gradually, silently, until one day they find themselves unable to move at all. They wish to change but feel powerless. They wish to act but are held back by their own habits of inaction. This is why discipline must be cultivated in small things before it is needed in great things. The one who trains themselves daily to act, to move, to face what is difficult without delay will find that when great challenges arise, they are ready. Each moment wasted in hesitation is a moment lost forever. The wise understand this and do not let opportunities slip away. If something must be done, they do it. If a difficult truth must be faced, they face it. If a task is unpleasant, they complete it without complaint. The mind rebels against discipline at first, but with time it learns. Just as the body grows stronger with use, the will grows sharper with practice. A person who acts even when they do not feel like it, who moves forward despite resistance, who refuses to be ruled by the desire for comfort, becomes unshakable. It is easy to make excuses. The mind will always find reasons to delay, to avoid, to justify inaction. But those who achieve anything of worth do not listen to these voices. They know that every great thing is built through effort, through persistence, through the willingness to do what others refuse to do. The weak complain about their circumstances. The strong take what they have and make the most of it. The weak wait for motivation. The strong act whether they feel motivated or not. The weak seek the easiest path. The strong take the path that leads to growth, no matter how difficult it may be. Nothing is achieved without effort. No skill, no wisdom, no strength is gained by those who refuse to act. The one who sits idle while others train will be unprepared when the time of testing comes. The one who waits for inspiration will find that inspiration does not come. But the one who works, who acts, who moves forward despite resistance will find that each step becomes easier, each effort builds upon the last, and before long, what once seemed impossible becomes natural. A person who understands this does not waste time. They do not wait for life to hand them opportunities. They create them. They do not sit idly while others complain about their misfortunes. They rise, they act, they do what must be done. Every moment is a choice. Every day is a chance to become stronger, wiser, more disciplined. And in the end, the difference between those who succeed and those who do not is not luck, not talent, not circumstance, but the willingness to act. Hold to this and nothing will move you from the path.